In the spring of 1918, a shadow fell over the streets of New Orleans. Families were attacked in their own homes, doors broken down, and an ordinary household tool, an axe, became a weapon of terror. The city was gripped by fear, unable to predict where the next strike would occur. Weeks passed, then months, as panic spread through neighborhoods. Citizens locked their doors, whispered warnings, and watched the night with anxious eyes. And then, in a chilling twist, the Axeman sent a letter to the newspapers, promising to spare anyone who played jazz in their home on a particular night. That night, pianos and phonographs filled the city with music, and for a few hours, the streets were quiet. Yet the terror never fully disappeared, and the identity of the Axeman remains a mystery to this day. This is the story of New Orleans' most infamous unsolved crime. This is the Axeman.
Between 1918 and 1919, New Orleans, Louisiana, was shaken by a string of violent and terrifying attacks that would go down in history as the work of an unknown assailant who came to be known as the Axeman. The city, already living through the aftermath of World War I and the 1918 influenza pandemic, faced a new kind of fear: the random, brutal invasion of ordinary homes by a mysterious figure wielding an axe. The first documented attack took place in May 1918. Joseph and Catherine Maggio, immigrants living in their home, were assaulted late at night. Although they survived, the incident set a precedent for the next several months. Ordinary households, including those of Italian-American families, were being targeted with no clear motive or pattern beyond terror itself. The Axeman's attack seemed almost random, leaving the city in a state of constant unease. Families fortified their doors, neighborhoods whispered warnings, and a sense of paranoia settled over New Orleans. The Axeman struck with a chilling combination of precision and unpredictability. He often entered through back doors or unlocked windows. Wielding an axe, he stole from his victims' own homes. Witnesses later described the sounds of breaking doors and frightened calls echoing through quiet streets. Survivors recounted escaping through quick thinking or sheer luck, but for many the experience left a lifelong imprint of fear. By March 1919, the Axeman's reign of terror took an unusual turn. On March 13, a letter was sent to several New Orleans newspapers. The letter, written in elegant script, was signed "The Axeman" and contained a message that would astonish and frighten the city simultaneously. In it, the killer declared that anyone playing jazz music in their home on the following night would be spared. The letter read as both a threat and a dark joke, instructing residents to obey a peculiar rule under the threat of violence. The city responded with a mix of fear and compliance. On the designated night, jazz filled homes from pianos, phonographs, and small bands. People stayed inside, hoping the letter was genuine. Miraculously, no attacks were reported that night. The incident blurred the line between terror and performance, creating a strange cultural moment that New Orleans would remember for generations. It was as if the Axeman had imposed a surreal ritual of survival on the city, blending menace with a bizarre sense of theatricality. Despite this unusual episode, the attacks did not stop entirely. Over the next months, more homes were invaded, but the Axeman remained elusive. Victims described the figure as skilled, fast, and careful, leaving few clues behind. Police investigations faced numerous challenges. Evidence was scarce, suspects were uncooperative, and fear limited the willingness of witnesses to come forward. The law enforcement agencies of the time, constrained by limited forensic techniques and societal challenges, struggled to make progress. Speculation about the Axeman's identity and motives ran rampant. Some theorized he was motivated by ethnic tension, targeting Italian-American families in particular. Others suggested ties to organized crime or a personal vendetta, yet no concrete evidence ever confirmed any theory. In the end, the Axeman became a ghost in the city, a symbol of unpredictability and human vulnerability. By late 1919, the attacks abruptly stopped. Whether the Axeman moved away, died, or was imprisoned for an unrelated crime remains unknown. No one was ever charged, and the mystery of the Axeman has persisted for more than a century. The crimes left behind a legacy not only of fear, but of lessons about community, law enforcement, and the fragility of safety. In the years that followed, the Axeman entered New Orleans folklore. Stories were told in jazz clubs and among local families, retold with a mixture of fear, fascination, and dark humor. The case inspired songs, newspaper retrospectives, and scholarly discussions about crime, psychology, and society's response to fear. The Axeman was no longer just a criminal, he became a cultural symbol, a reminder of what happens when a community faces a threat it cannot fully understand. The Axeman of New Orleans remains a cautionary tale. It is a story of randomness and terror, but also of the human response to fear. People locked their doors, played music to survive, and watched their neighbors with suspicion. The attacks forced the city to confront uncomfortable truths about safety, vigilance, and the unknown. Even today, historians, true crime enthusiasts, and cultural scholars study the Axeman case, drawn to its mix of horror, mystery, and the surreal instructions that spared lives with the sound of jazz music. Ultimately, the Axeman's identity remains a mystery, and his motives may never be known. But the story endures as a chilling testament to the vulnerability of ordinary lives, the power of fear, and the strange, haunting intersection of crime.